Ellis, and if he'll stand up. He's the vice president each year. And he's really my right-hand man, takes care of some things, and he's always willing to take care of special projects. So he's also the facilities chairperson at the same time that he's the vice president. So he has a big job doing that. And currently, he's working on something that should be of great interest to all of you, and that is e-recycling. That is recycling your electronics in your apartment. So you may see an article in the log about it, but he's working with activities and with the facilities to bring this to fruition so that we can collect all the electronics we no longer use, get them out of our apartments, and they'll go to a place where they're going to be recycled. So he's working on that. So he continues to do special projects like that. Eileen Weiderman is in the front here. She's our secretary of banking. She's actually the glue that holds all of us together because she takes care of all the minutes, makes sure that they get posted on the app, and makes sure that they get posted in the library for everybody to read. And she also goes back and forth to the bank. She collects the money at Coffee Chat every Friday morning, puts out little cards, and then collects them and takes the money. So she has a lot of busy work to do for us, which is very important. Jim Wagner's over here in the corner. Jim has probably one of the most challenging jobs on the council, and that is he's the dining chair. So with Jim, he hears lots from all of you about dining all the time, but he also meets with Tyler almost every week, and he goes over the suggestions that you give to him and things that you want said to Tyler Ramos. And so he's working diligently on that, and he also keeps track of, what's going on with training our service employees and any new projects that are coming along from dining. So Carol Luckenbach is standing in front, and she's been with us for 4 years. We've done activities, and since she's taken over activities, that committee is volunteers and helps Jay and Brianne and Julia with a lot of behind-the-scenes preparations for the activities that go on here. Carol also, in case you don't know, took over and revived croquet and also bocce. So she is a multi-purpose person. So Sue Ellen Pinkerton, again, sitting over here. She's the chair of the healthcare committee. You've probably seen many of her articles in the log already because she's really has some really good tips about healthcare from her background. One of her current projects, which is coming to fruition, is having individual little hand sanitizer things for all the residents. And also those can be refilled by our housekeeping people. So she's been working on that. She's also committed to healthy eating, and she has a wealth of knowledge in that area to share. She also organizes the events to go to the firehouse twice a year because we like to show those people a little appreciation every once in a while because they're in here and out of here an average of 3 times a day. So they really need our appreciation. And last but not least is George Ellis. He is the chair of the Veterans Committee. Again, a very challenging position because he has lots of activities and he has lots of balls in the air to keep going all the time because he's busy getting speakers for his meetings and also taking care of issues for spouses and veterans that come up. And presently, he's working with the Activities Committee on what we're going to do as a celebration for our 250th anniversary for the community, for our country. So those are the people who work on the council. They don't just attend a meeting once a month or come to these community meetings. They really do a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's work that is important to all of you. So I just wanted to take a moment to recognize all of them for that. So next, I'm going to ask Leo Warner to come up here and do the invocation for us this morning to get us started. And just be careful. One of the things I hope is I don't fall off the stage. I'll hand you the microphone. You won't have to come up here.
Good morning. Close your eyes. Maybe take a couple of breaths and try to clear our minds. You can stay seated. You can stay seated. Just close your eyes. You know, that's pretty easy to do. And just try to clear our minds and take a couple of breaths. I know I'm going to, and have just some silence just for a moment. Almighty God, please join us at this community meeting. Walk among us, touch our hearts, touch our souls. Give us the spirit of hope and the spirit of love. Many of us in this room are very, very worried. We're worried about this broken world of ours. We're worried about a war that doesn't seem to have an ending, and we even worry more about whether it's going to be expanded. We worry about this world because we see more hate than we see love. Shootings in this country, needless shootings, which we just can't hardly fathom. So there's many, many things that are on our minds, and we need to have you stand with us, walk with us as we face the future. We also would like to ask that you spend some time with the key leaders in this world, with Donald, our president, Ron, our governor. Give them the wisdom, give them love so they make the right decisions for us, the citizens. We also ask, God, that you shine some extra sun on all the people in Cypress Village that are afflicted with some kind of a disease or not, they just can't be here today with us. We would be remiss if we didn't thank you for all the blessings that you give us every day. The opportunity to be in Cypress Village, where we do feel safe and we see love in progress every single day. I would like to have you also watch over us, our friends and our relatives in the next few days, and keep us safe. Bless this meeting in God's name. Amen.
Amen.
Next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. You can all stand. And Sue Ellen Pickard is who is lead. Frosty Roberts was supposed to lead it this morning, and he is not feeling well. So, Roger or George, can you step forward and do the pledge for us?
Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, George, for filling in. Next thing on our list is the HR recognition. For the employees of the month, and so is Emily.
Good morning, everyone. Those I've not met, my name is Emily Gann. I'm the HR director for Cypress Village. So nice to see everyone, and definitely enjoyed yesterday at the wedding greens. That was fun. So to recognize our employees of the month, we're going to start with our February employees of the month. We have Jay Ellis with CL. It's like, I didn't know it was going to go up. So a couple of things about Jay. She has been with Cypress over a year. And I know she's definitely a base to CLS. We're so thankful to have her. But I also wanted to share that Jay took on a big feat this year. She is our chair of Culture Committee, which drives employee engagement.
Woo!
So, big round of applause. Doing an amazing job, And y'all, when she calls a meeting, she's like adjourned. It's all business. So I respect it and I appreciate partnering with you. You're a great partner.
Woo!
The next employee I do not see, it is Ken Kennedy. And he is a med tech in our AL memory care area. And I made a few notes, so I just want to make sure that I report appropriately. He has been with Cypress Village for 7 months. And importantly, I'd like to share that in November of 2025, a resident choked in the dining room up there. Ken performed the Heimlich maneuver and dislodged what the resident was choking on, thus saving him. Thus, an excellent nomination for. All right, and then for March, Employee of the Month, we have Tantaline Green. Okay, so Tantaline is with our IHS department. As you heard Ken say, she is with residents. Wanted to share that Tantaline has been with Cypress for over a year. And she was recently promoted to one of the scheduling positions at IHS. So when you see her, you will definitely know who she is. If you need IHS services, she could definitely support and walk you through it and schedule you. Okay.
Woo!
Last but definitely not least, we have Dean Howe, another March Employee of the Month. Dean, so Dean is one of those that I definitely recognized upon my return. He is an amazing CDL driver. He's been with Cypress, it'll be 9 years in October.
Woo!
All I can say, if you drive the Jacksonville streets,
Mhm.
think of Dean.
Mhm.
It's every single day. And anyone that does that has the ability to do it with the grace and the professionalism that Dean has. We very, very much appreciate you and congratulations. Thank you.
Woo!
I will turn it back over to Miss Barbara.
Thank you, Emily. The next thing on our list is the treasurer's report. And I'm going to hand the microphone to Eileen, who is our secretary and our treasurer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We started the month of January with $1,215.40. In January, we collected $102.05. February, $147, so that our balance currently is $1,464.45. And thanks to all of you for generous contributions. You know we get our funding from coffee chat donations. And we came close to breaking a record last week with $42.
Woo!
Attend coffee chat, so please keep it up. It's really very, very helpful. We also get money from the honor box in the library. So if you do use the copier in the library, don't forget to put $1 or more into the honor box. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eileen. Okay. The months of March and April are our scholarship fundraising months. So the next person on the list is going to speak is Kate Pierce, and she can come up and tell us about the scholarship funding and what happens with the scholarship money. And hopefully, after you listen to her, you'll be very generous.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So as you know, March and April are our times to request donations from our residents for our scholarship fund. We're in our 24th year of having our scholarship fund to benefit our employees. It's wonderful to continue that tradition. You may know that the scholarship fund is now a 501c3 approved charity with the IRS. That means that gifts to the fund may be tax deductible. Check with your financial providers about that. We can also now accept donations directly from IRAs and grants from donor advised funds. So again, that's been a wonderful benefit for our fundraising. Last year, we raised $128,156.02.
Woo!
Of that, $52,756.02 were from IRAs or donor advised funds. So that's been a wonderful, wonderful boost to our fundraising activity. So we, of course, raised the money from our wonderful, wonderful residents. Thank you. And then we turn around and we give it away. In order for our employees to be eligible to apply for a scholarship, they have to have been here for at least 90 days, working full-time or pre-scheduled part-time. They have to be in good standing with their immediate supervisor and attend an accredited or approved program or school. It doesn't have to be academics. It can be professional certifications, anything like that. So they have, we've got an online application that they fill out. In addition to the application, they need to provide a letter of recommendation from their supervisor and an invoice from the program in which they are enrolled. The invoice must include their name, their ID number associated with that organization, and the amount due. It's the amount due that determines their scholarship amount. After all that paperwork is compiled, we have probably about 2 members of our committee that do a personal interview with each applicant, and then the results of that interview go to the committee at large. And then if the application is approved, then our treasurer, Michael, cuts a check and sends it to the organization. Last year, we had 34 employees that had that received scholarships.
Whoop.
We gave away $112,857.59. They represented about 8 different departments across our campus and attend about 12 different organizations or schools. FSCJ and UNF are the 2 most popular schools that they attend. Let's see, what am I reading? Oh, of those 34 people, 11 of them received multiple scholarships, meaning that their term of study within the year, they did 2 or 3 different terms, yet every time they have to reapply and same process over again. So each individual is eligible to receive $6,000 per year total. And I think that's it. I don't have any questions. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you. Oh, I did want to say hot off the press. So far in March, our fundraising for this year is $30,000. Michael.
How many applicants were turned down
Last year, I don't think we turned any down. It's very rare that we do, every once in a while. But you're right, it was 0 last year. So everyone who applied received a scholarship.
That's awesome.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Woo!
Thanks, Kate. That's off to a good start because we still have the rest of March and we still have April to raise the money. So it goes to the cause, and if you read the log, my article in the log talked about paying it forward. This is a prime example, and I use them as the example of us as residents paying it forward so that somebody else can get an education and have a better life. And so just like somebody probably helped each one of us somewhere along the line to move forward in our life. The next up on the schedule is Janet Allen. She's going to give us an update on the community funds, which they have been working on a nonprofit status for them also. So Janet.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. And I hate following Kate Peters because she is so terrific. That's my goal, to be like Kate Peters. So I'm going to give you a little update on the community fund. Our name is going to be changing to the Resident Fund of Cypress Village. Things we had to do for nonprofit status, which we haven't reached that yet. Still working on it, but in the end of the road, sort of. We have a new member of our board. She's replacing Bev Lopes, who supported Wendy and bill paying and money. But we have a new person, Bunny Smith. Is she here? I've never met her. I've read her bio, and I voted for her when she came up for election. But so Bunny, I don't know if any of you know Bunny Smith, but she'll be backing up Wendy. We have another position to fill, and we have our eye on someone, but we haven't completed that task. And I am no longer president. I'm the ex officio, which means I can't vote, but they still want me to do stuff. So here I am. But Louise Fontecchio is now the president. Wendy remains as the treasurer. Jerry, it's a good thing I have notes. Jerry Borchers is the secretary, doing a fantastic job. Jim Griffiths, who has been so helpful with this transition, he knows this stuff. He always denies that, but he knows a lot. And of course, Carrie, who's sitting over there. Once our bylaws are approved by our tax consultant, and our policies are approved by our board, our plan is to put a notebook in the library, and hopefully eventually it will be on the app, the Cypress Village app, so that you can take a look at the bylaws, the policies, the minutes, the last financial statements, and that sort of thing. So that is hopefully something that we can do soon. Our vision, and this is really boring when I read things, but I need to let you know what our vision or our mission or our objectives are. To provide charitable support to senior residents who can no longer meet the cost of assisted living, memory care, or skilled nursing care. And that is where we have most of our money. We also, our goal is to enrich the quality of life for all senior residents of Cypress Village by funding projects and programs that provide education, wellness, and social engagement. We also support community clubs for residents of Cypress Village that sponsor activities promoting wellness, community, and education. So that's our grants. In light of our vision, we are looking at processes to enable us to be more active and assist more residents. So we have lots of ideas. One is to create a fancy pamphlet that we can hand out and give to people, along with the sheet of how you apply. We're also thinking of linking up with other groups to help us meet that goal, because a lot of people do not know the grants that are available. Further updates will be upcoming in the Cypress Log and at community meetings. If you have any questions, you can talk to any member of our board. Carrie is here, Wendy's here. I don't see Louise. Somebody's here. So, anyway, that's it. Thank you for your patience listening to me.
Mhm.
It's gonna be okay.
So the next thing on our list is really, I haven't seen Louise this morning. She's supposed to be here. Because I've gotten questions from people about what is a DRR? People mention DRR using these acronyms. DRR means a designated resident representative. Okay, that person is appointed by the RAC to serve in that position. They serve at least 1 year. Barbara Hooper, who's here, has been on that position before. And basically, according to statute 651, that person is responsible for is the resident representative when the budget talks are ongoing with administration. And that is their role to represent the community in those budget talks. So I wanted Louise to explain that since she is the DRR. But I don't know if Barbara would say a few words. Barbara, could you say a few words about the DRR? Could you serve as that position?
I think you all need to know how important it is and how fortunate we are to receive so much financial information from administrations. Some communities don't have that privilege. So the job of the DRR here at Cypress is not nearly as time consuming and overpowering as it would be in communities that have financial issues that residents are not aware of. We're just kept really well informed. And I urge you to all take advantage of those opportunities to learn for yourself what finance and justice skills are doing. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
clarifying that for everybody.
Hopefully, and for any of you who haven't ever read 651, which is a statute that governs continuing care communities, life care communities in the state of Florida. It's a very extensive document, but it's very clearly laid out responsibilities of the Residents Advisory Council, what residents can expect, and from administration. And so I would urge you all to take a look at it at some point, and so that you can understand what the state law is that actually protects all of you in the state. So thank you, Barbara, again for pitching in there. Next thing we're going to do this morning is we're going to do appreciation for committees. These are people that we're going to recognize that have served a 2-year term on a committee, and that's a full term on most of the committees except healthcare. And they have rotated off. Many times you'll see these people, they rotate off of one committee and they will, because they like to be involved in the community, will rotate onto a new committee for 2 years. But we're going to recognize the ones that have rotated off. So the first ones, I'll have Jim Wagner come forward. These are the people from the dining committee that have rotated off.
Can you hear me all right? Good. Welcome to each of you. If we do any good at all on the dining committee, which I think is up for grabs, there are a few people here that we can point to that should get credit. Perhaps the single person who should get most credit is Tyler Ramos. Wait a second.
Woo.
I've got some certificates to hand out to people, as was indicated, have completed their terms. And it's those people who should get, I think, some of the credit at least for improvement. Barbara, I'm gonna start with you, but I will bring you your certificate if that'll help. All right, I'll do that. As was described earlier, a lot of these folks are involved with a committee, multiple committees, groups at the same time, or they morph from one into another. And Barbara's a prime example of that. She is the editor of the Cypress Log. Like Leo this morning, she often stands here and offers an invocation that's both thoughtful and imaginative for us. She does any number of things, including at some point preceding me and many of you, was president of RAC herself. So she knows what's up. Barbara, thank you.
Woo. Yeah.
I need to introduce Joan to you, but I will. This is Joan McAvoy.
McVeigh.
She did a good job as McAvoy as well. Will calls me. If you haven't met her while she was part of the dining committee, you maybe have seen her on Wednesdays in the lobby where she coordinates the marketplace. And if you haven't stopped by there, do so and look. But she receives a lot of compliments, and we appreciate very much her contribution to the dining committee, which she fulfilled in March or April last year, 2020.
Woo.
Present you Joan McVeigh.
Woo.
This is Sharon Warner that I've invited up. Sharon completed her 2 years with the dining committee. About the same time, Joan McVeigh completed her term. My wife and I had the great pleasure of meeting Sharon and Leo shortly after we moved here, which was a wonderful opportunity for us because we had become entrenched in Gainesville for about 52 years, believe it or not. So we deliberately moved here at that time. We didn't know anyone other than our son and his children. So meeting Sharon and Leo was a pleasure. And that pleasure was enhanced by my discovery that Sharon was a member of the dining committee. And I put her to work doing several things during her tenure, including going to menu chat, because I knew a number of you attended and you communicated concerns. And I wanted to know from someone other than myself if it was the perception that Tyler Ramos took those comments seriously. And Sharon said yes, which was good enough for me. So 100% sharing the person as what?
Woo!
Roger, can you make your way here?
I'll try.
Roger completed his term of service this past November, December, sometime in that range, because one of those months we did not meet because of politics. And I lose track of that. When I inherited the committee and they inherited me, Roger was one of those members who was just absolutely outstanding. He's an example that, contrary to popular opinion, members of the dining committee do survive their terms.
Woo!
I've never said this to Roger, but he reminds me of Senator John McCain. Do you recall? He had a famous quote. He might not have intended for it to be famous, but he said he always thought there would be one. And by that, he meant one person who would just live forever. Well, I think Roger is that person.
Oh. Woo!
And this is Roger's certificate.
Yeah.
Great job, Jim. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll ask George Ellis to come forward. He has one member who completed their full term on Veterans Committee, and he'll acknowledge that person.
I'm going to ask Tom Johnston to come up.
Woo!
I may shake your hand. I unfortunately did not have his contributions because he retired before I took over everything. I am told that you never miss the meetings, and it's a pretty demanding situation to always get there and make the contribution. Perhaps you don't know, all of the veteran events that are held, Coffee Chats, Memorial Day, which, Veterans Day, these are hard things, but to coordinate smoothly. I regret that you're not here now to
Yeah.
help me do that.
Oh.
But thank you for your dedication.
Woo!
And the last recognition group will be Roger Argos will come forward. He'll do the facilities. He has a number of people who retired from that after the 2-year term.
On behalf of the entire Facilities Committee, I'm going to ask you to help me express our thanks to 3 retiring members. These are folks who have served on the committee honorably, and it's my chance to recognize and to thank them. I'm going to be calling them up in mass, but knowing these folks, if your information is really short,
Yeah.
you know, give me the certificate and let me sit down, please. So let's get started. Chuck Lynch is one of our members. Carrie McVeigh is another one. And finally, Leo Warner. Folks, come on up. And while they're on their way up, I want to advise you that we, effective next month, will have 2 vacancies on the facilities committee. We're looking for volunteers, willing and able to roll up their sleeves and give us a hand. If you're interested, please let me know. As I said, these guys would prefer that we keep this really short. So on behalf of the entire committee, I do want to thank them for their dedication, for their ideas, for their motivation, and for their attendance as well. So thank you both. Carrie, this is for you.
Woo!
I wouldn't say it. But we're passing the torch.
Woo!
Thank you. So we give a final round of applause for all the people who have. Thank you. And as Roger said, we have openings on some of the committees. So, you know, sometimes they're posted in the log. Sometimes, like Roger just made an announcement. So if you're interested in a committee, just come forward to ask, you know, the chairs of those committees to see if they need some help. Usually they will. Even if you can't be a committee member, they may still need some volunteers to help with activities and things they do. So then, next thing we're going to be doing is I'm going to turn the mic over to Ty, and he's going to be doing we're going to continue with management updates.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Thank you all for being here today. For management updates, we are going to kick it off with our Director of Sales and Marketing, Lisa Green. Lisa, come on up.
Woo!
Everybody knows Lisa Green. I'm just going to give her a quick plug. We actually have no apartments to sell as of today, thanks to her. Yes. Lisa, the mic is yours.
How is everyone? So what I'm going to talk about today very briefly is a lot of you come into the sales office and you ask about your contract. Everyone has a different contract. Some have a life care, some have a choice plan, some have a refundable option, some are equity homeowners. So what I've done is I put together a little presentation. It's called A Taste of the Pines. So I'm hoping you saw it on Coffee Chat when I recorded it, and then you received a flyer. What I'm doing is I'm setting this presentation up for you as residents, just like we would for our prospective buyers coming in, kind of a lunch and learn. So it's meeting the team from the Pines. How many of you have ever been up in assisted living or memory care? Okay, so about 50% of the room that have actually seen it and been there. So what we're doing is we're doing an educational seminar so that you are all going to understand your specific contract. And then what would a transition to a higher level of care look like for you? What is the cost going to be for you? So we're going to discuss all this so that you're armed with the information that if and when you ever needed to transition, you knew how to do it. You knew what it might cost and what that transition might look like. So we're doing our very first event. It's actually today. We do have some space. We're starting right across the hall today in the private dining room at 11:30. So we do have some space if anybody doesn't have plans and wants to join us today. If not, our next event is on the 24th of March. I'm going to be doing this in April, 2 dates, and then again in May, 2 dates. After the luncheon, so if you have an interest, just come to the sales office and sign up. We'll tell you what the dates are. Sign up for a luncheon. And then after, we're also going to sign up so that you can tour assisted living and memory care and really get a feel for the environment. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And like I said, we are full today. We have nothing to sell in our independent living. But I wanted to make sure that you bought into all of this. You came to the community with the understanding that Cypress would be here for you for the rest of your life, whatever level of care you needed. We want to make sure you understand what that looks like and what that means. So we hope you'll join us.
Woo! Yay!
I would encourage any residents that have not taken advantage of that, just to really see what the benefit is that you do have within your residency agreement here. It is very rich, it is very vast, so a lot of information that Lisa and I think Sarah and I are going to share with our residents. So I hope you can join there. Next on the docket for management, we have Tyler Ramos for dining services. And he is going to give some dining updates, but specifically talk about the lakeside lunch option that is coming in the near future. So with that, Tyler Ramos.
Good morning, everyone. CPC, little Putter's tournament yesterday was fun. So we was out there based on the skin tone. It's fine. So quick, short, and sweet. Some updates. First of all, post and check-in policies. We've been made aware that it's a focus now for us. So what we're looking to do is distinguish and separate the two check-ins for Lakeside and Middleton's. How we're going to do that is still kind of up in the air with, but that is the goal and that's what we're going to do. Supplies and food leaving the dining rooms. If you see it, just let me know. That's all we're going to say there. It impacts everyone. It really does. So don't need to get into that, but it'll help everybody if we narrow it down. The team. I'm proud of the team.
Yeah.
It's the best team we've had in a while. It really is. They're happy with what they're doing. They're proud of what they're doing, and they're learning. They want to learn now. So very happy with that. So we have had some training as a focus for the team. That's something we're going to touch on here just quickly. Server training in particular was where we started. That's shown improvement. We can see that in our my customer voice feedback. For the month of February, we had 645 responses, and we overall averaged 93%. So, huge improvement. You know that it needs to continue. Consistency is really the focus. We've partnered with the dining committee. Jim put it out there that we do work and we do meet. I'm sorry, Ms. Fonatowski actually did. We do meet on a regular basis and we go over a lot of things. But the committee has made our focus shift. That's opened our eyes to what we need to do. So servers are still a focus, but now our supervisors and managers are a focus, making them more comfortable with what they're doing, opening their eyes to really see what's going on outside of, touching tables. So good there. Just got through that real quickly. Now the new concept. We don't know what we're going to call it, but we are thinking the preserving of Lakeside, the preserving Lakeside. No, we don't. So if you have suggestions, we'll figure that out. The idea and why we're doing it. We've had a shift in resident demand based off of residents coming in. New generations, things like that, I suppose we can put it that way. They are looking for a health conscious meal that you can feel good about having. So what we're looking to do is provide a venue that will offer whole fresh foods. It will be unique to itself, and it will not tie in anything that we really have in any of our other venues. So what that means is we will not go grab some soup from Middleton's when we have this venue open up. But we will have its own if we feel that is the case, and that's what we want to do. To begin, lunch service Monday through Friday. That's what we're looking at. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there is no need to make a reservation. It will be something you come in, sit down. We're expecting to feed 30 to 40 people per day. If we can do that, we're doing well. If we're doing more, we'll refocus and realign our labor to meet that need. The venue in the beginning will act as an in-house experience. What we mean by that is we're not doing to-goes from that venue. We're not doing catering from that venue. If you want to eat from there, it will be in the venue itself. Everything will be prepared to order. It will be prepared fresh and in its own area. So it really is interesting what we're going to do, and Chef has had some good ideas that I'll show you all menu item examples here in a second. Actually, I'll show you those now. So, for example, the mint pistachio quinoa salad. the inspiration really is Blue Zone. To be Blue Zone, it's not just food, it's going to be lifestyle overall, but we are going to gear our menus towards healthy eating. What it is. And we will offer protein options, but examples of menu items are that quinoa salad, the quinoa chickpeas, edamame, mint, cilantro, avocado, pistachio with lemon, honey vinaigrette. So these vinaigrettes, they're going to be made in-house. Everything that we're serving is made in-house. We're pickling the onions, that's going to be done in-house, things like that. So one that we have here, it's called Buddha Bowl. Spinach, romaine, lentils, tofu, or chicken, or salmon. Avocado, pumpkin seeds, tomato, pickled radish, cilantro, and pico de gallo with a lemon vinaigrette. So it is good. It will be good. I'm not worried about that. It's really just what we need to make you all aware of is that we're not going to open up until we're ready. We mentioned that we are looking to distinguish between the two check-ins. We're looking to build out a couple of countertops or the host stand in the lakeside venue itself so that we can separate the two. If that means that we have to postpone the opening from middle of April to May, that is what we're going to do. We want it to make sense from the get-go, and we don't want to have to go back. So that being said, I really don't have much more. Just wanted to touch on a couple of things. We're excited for the new venue. It's really a great thing. It really is. I know that the demand is there, and we look forward to it. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Tyler. And the new venue, we're actually going to put out a survey monkey to our residents. We're going to select 5 names, but we're going to let the residents make the final decision on the name of it. We are looking to give you all variety. That's a key piece. Also take a little pressure off of the main dining room at night. You know, if we could take 30 to 40 off of that main dining room at night, a lot of you that don't get reservations could get reservations. So we will see how all this plays out, but I want to thank the dining committee for their guidance and Tyler for his information here today. And next on the docket, we've got Laurel Mundell, our Director of Administrative Services. And I don't have a description of what she's going to say, but I'm sure she has a lot of information. So, Laurel.
Thank you, Ty. It didn't fit on there, that's why. Getting off my brief. Good to see you all this morning. I'm Laurel Mundell, your Director of Administrative Services. Today I have several updates that mostly fall into one theme, keeping our systems modern, reliable, and easier to use. Some of these improvements you've noticed right away, others are behind the scenes, but very important to the long-term operation of our community. For starters, Eager Hall audio-visual equipment, as you can see. This was a smaller update, actually. Oh, thank you.
Woo!
But it was a smaller update, but it was one that held many groups and committees who use Eager Hall on a regular basis. With the system upgraded, it's a much easier user-friendly version with their touch panel. And we have the 2 handheld microphones, we have 2 lapel microphones, but there are only 2 audio channels. So that just means that only 1 microphone from each channel can be used at the same time. We can't use all 4 microphones. We just use 2 depending on your need. But this gives speakers more flexibility for presentations, meetings, and panel discussions, and you don't have to worry about audio levels. If you're planning an event in Eager Hall and would like a quick walkthrough of the AV system, feel free to contact me and I'd be happy to schedule a short tutorial before your event. Otherwise, when scheduling your events with Community Life Services or with Canvicia for dining, just communicate your needs in advance that you would like to use the system and how you would like to use it. The next topic, I've touched on this a little bit about our directories. So we're going to send out another letter that's basically a verification of all the information that we have internally for you. And you're just going to look through that letter, confirm, or if nothing needs to change, no action required. If something does need to change, just indicate that on the form and return it to concierge. This year is going to be the first year we do not have the complimentary directories published. That is because we have the online app directory. However, for those, if there was mumbling of people who wanted a printed version, so we will have those available for pre-sale. And what we're going to do, when I was quoted the price to get them printed in this, instead of doing like 1,000 of them, only doing a couple hundred, The cost per was $25. So I know that's steep for what we are used to, but that's because of the volume. So I wanted to do pre-orders just to see how much interest there was. If you're okay with doing the $25 price, make sure you sign up for a pre-order. And my hope is I'll have so many people that then the price will go down. I'm hoping it'll go down a few, like $5 or $7. So, but I'll have that on a form, and then it'll likely be June for the publication date of the directory. Comcast cable system upgrade. So another project coming up soon involves our Comcast cable infrastructure in the main building here, which includes the skilled nursing facility. We're still scheduled for April 2026. Comcast is going to be replacing the older MDTA cable boxes with their newer X1 platform. Channel lineups will stay the same, but the underlying technology will improve. This is happening because the current MDTA boxes are end of life and no longer supported, and replacing them will allow more reliable service, faster troubleshooting if issues occur, and better signal quality. And that's more for the skilled nursing facility. You all have a pretty good quality already, but they have a very old technology in the skilled building. Comcast will need to, if they are upgrading your apartment, they will need to come in and remove the existing boxes and then install the new X1 equipment. These steps will happen at the same time, so you won't have any issues with our extended TV outages. Studio apartments moving forward will get one X1 box, and all other apartments will get two X1 boxes. If you want to add cable boxes to your apartment, you just call Comcast and you set up an additional box, but you will have to pay for that. These are just the complimentary ones. If you already have a Comcast service personally, or a Wi-Fi router, nothing about your account should change. But there is a phone number to call that's specifically for our community. And this is new. So before you had to call the main Comcast number and hope that you get to a person after a few, robots. So we now have our own phone number it's called the Comcast Bulk Center of Excellence. I can imagine how long that think tank meeting was and what they came up with, anyway. But if you call that number, I have it printed in the weekly update. I talked about it on Coffee Chat. I'll keep talking about it. And I did put it in the app under the staff directory. So you'll see Comcast Bulk Center of Excellence at 1-833-501-1893. They will send out a technician out for free professional installation to upgrade you to the X1 digital starter package before the property-wide installation takes place in April if you want, but you have to do that individually. Or you can call them just to confirm that your equipment is or is not upgraded. And you do that by looking at the serial number on the back of your box. Again, I'll give more details. There were also pictures of the various equipment in the weekly update as well. But like I said, I'll probably just have an information sheet at the concierge desk and on the app too, so you don't have to remember what week was that printed. I meet with the Comcast team on a bi-weekly basis leading up to our install so that I can get a real-time status update with the engineering team, their engineering team, their IT team. So more detail, I'll share details as I have them. And then I'll confirm the installation timeline with you because it's not going to be exactly April 1st. Everybody here gets their box. Right? Up next, emergency call system replacement. This next project is one of the most important investments we're making because it directly relates to resident safety. The emergency call system is being replaced and upgraded. The system supports pull cords, pendants, smoke detectors, and any other safety devices throughout the community that we have. The investment is roughly a $500,000 infrastructure. And this is necessary because our current system is as old as the building, so about 35 years old. While it still works, many manufacturers no longer produce replacement parts, and a modern system provides much stronger monitoring, reporting, and reliability long-term. So the system will look and function very similar to what you're used to, but behind the scenes, the technology will be significantly smarter and more reliable. Again, more details about the timing will be shared as it progresses. Right now, since the system is going to be across all levels of care, independent living, and even our skilled nursing facility, we have to get the state of Florida's approval on everything related to the skilled nursing facility. So we're waiting on them basically to approve it. And then, but our company is doing all of the work behind the scenes. So as soon as we get that approval from the state of Florida, we can just hit the ground running. And then the house door lock upgrade and access management system upgrade. We've also been approved for an upgrade to one part of our access control system, the house door locks for the Equity homes in the villas. The current locks are reaching end of their useful life, so we conducted a competitive bid process and the project has been awarded to Secure Lock Solutions. The locks we're planning to install are called the Dormakaba Sapphire LX series, which are modern electronic locks designed for residential communities like ours. These locks will be managed through a system called Community Access Management Software, which is designed specifically for multifamily and retirement communities. In practical terms and from a resident perspective, the goal is better security and easier access management while keeping things simple to use. The system allows for it, doesn't necessarily mean we'll go with this because we're going to have to think through some of the repercussions, but the system allows for secure key cards or fobs instead of traditional keys, the option for mobile phone access in the future, meaning your phone could act as your key, temporary access for guests or service providers, which can be issued and removed easily, improved security tracking, allowing the security staff to review access if a security issue occurs. One of the advantages of this system is that the locks do not rely on constant internet connection. So even if the network is down, the locks will continue to work normally. When cards or fobs are used, the system automatically updates the locks with any changes to access permissions. So our system can control who has access to certain areas and quickly disable lost cards or fobs. In plain language, the upgrade replaces aging door locks with a modern electronic system that improves security and makes it easier to manage keys and access across the community. Again, it'll feel very similar to what you're used to, but the technology behind it will be much more secure and easier to manage long term. So we're starting with the houses. That's what we have the approval dollars for. But then the next phase of the plan, likely next year, if all goes according to our capital plan, is that we'll work on the apartments and then the offices. So we'll see that next year for this side of the building or this side of the community as well. I hope residents see the Administrative Services Department reflects a consistent focus on these three things: improving your experience, keeping our infrastructure modern, and investing in your safety and reliability. Thank you. So up next is our Q&A session, and I actually did have about a dozen questions come in before the meeting, so I'm going to go through these quickly. 11:04. So I'll go through these, and then if there's any questions in the audience, Ashley has a microphone that you can ask your questions in. So the first one is, what is the average age for residents in independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing? These answers from the business office. Disclosure, they have a margin of error because some of our point-click care date of births are missing, or some of the homeowners are deceased, but their estate is still owned by their trust. So in independent living apartments, the average age is 84. If you're younger than that, feel good. If you're older than that, feel good too. Villas, 82 is average age. Equity houses, 81. Assisted living and memory care, the combined average is 87. And in our skilled nursing facility, this is 85. Fun fact. It is good info. Another question, just wondering, what does the employee of the month get, if anything, for who and who votes? Some I know, others I've never heard of. So answer, employees are nominated in the culture committee meeting for the employee of the month, and then the leaders all vote during cabinet. The selected employee receives a $250 award on their paycheck, and they receive an extraordinary impressions pin, which is this little star here, and then a parking spot for their winning month. So you'll see 2 parking spots designated in the parking garage underneath, which, I mean, I think when Donna Buckley won, that was like the thing she was most excited. Forget the money, she just wanted the parking spot. Next question. Unfortunately, the door stoppers in the laundry rooms are not a practical solution because I do not have a free hand to open the door and stand on one foot while I balance to push down the stopper. How about installing the electronic push door openers on both sides of the door? So at this time, replacing the laundry room doors or installing electronic push button openers is not a feasible request, as the existing doors are fully functional and compliant. We must prioritize capital projects carefully, especially with significant upcoming expenditures, which include the multi-million-dollar elevator replacements. In the meantime, though, Dave Green has instructed one of our new technicians to visit all the laundry rooms and trash chute rooms to lubricate and adjust the door closers to minimize effort while opening. We are hopeful this will make the doors easier to open and close. This process should be completed by now. It took a couple days to do. And then just as a disclaimer too, if it is recommended that if any resident in independent living feels that they are having increasing difficulty managing daily tasks safely and independently, they are encouraged to reach out to Ashley Miller to discuss supportive options. This can include anything from innovative home services to help you do the laundry, or a transition to assisted living where you get to see Mr. William Rouse on a daily basis. Who doesn't want that? Next question. Parking around the main entrance circle and against the garage has become increasingly hard to find. Residents driving to the main building from the houses are often forced to park above the garage, and I've even seen some employees parking above the garage. I've noticed an increase in the number of contractors and nurses using the spaces against the garage. Aren't nurses supposed to park in the employee or private duty lot? And shouldn't contractors park on the perimeter of Middleton Park Circle? Are there other areas of campus that could be developed to accommodate the parking need? So I asked Scott, I said, in just 1 week, like this last week, how many tickets were issued? 32 tickets were issued in 1 week. One was rescinded because it was a current resident who just hadn't registered their vehicle yet, but who would have otherwise been approved to park there. And yes, employee and private service providers should park in one of the 2 lots designated for them. However, once full, they are permitted to park on the second floor of the parking garage with guests and residents, as it is our overflow parking area. Some service vans and trucks cannot make the turn to the second floor of the garage, so they find parking along the first floor easier for their vehicle. Individuals are no longer permitted to park along the grassy stretch of Middleton Park Circle East behind the skilled nursing facility. It was giving used car lot. So that's people thought that that's what it looked like when we drove it. So there are other areas that could be developed to accommodate parking. However, it would need to be tied with a development that has a corresponding ROI. So for example, an amenity, an additional living space, etc. So that's where our minds are going, is that we will get an extra parking area with an amenity, hopefully, or a new living space.
Well, I have a question.
Yes, Ashley.
Just because I emailed transportation about this morning. Or would there be, if we had a shuttle system a couple of times a day or a couple times a week from out to the homes here to the towers, would that be helpful and kind of diffuse some of the parking? Tried it?
We've tried it in the past, and Dave, who's overseen transportation for a while now, said it wasn't widely accepted. Always open to solutions. Okay, and then I've got 2 more pre-asked questions. Wouldn't it be wonderful if one of the alerts we received each day would tell us when the mail is in? I bet concierge would appreciate it as well. Well, I asked concierge, and honestly, they said usually by the time the mail comes in, there's 15 things going on at the same time. So for them to send an alert might actually be a little much to expect at a time. However, I'm looking, I asked our app developers, rather than an alert, because I do get like a ton of alerts already, what if we had like a scrolling banner or something on the elevator displays? Like we can do that, like what you see at the bottom, like the ticker at the bottom of a news store or something, where it's like mail is in, is here. So we could do something like that that's a little bit simpler and it wouldn't, bog down all of your phones. But to be determined. And if that is something that you're interested in, please let me know, because I don't know how many people this is an interest of, and I'll mention on a coffee chat too. And then, another plan to replace the front door locks, and so I did touch on that about there is, and we'll know more details after we get start working with our vendor. Okay, now I'm going to open up questions to the audience. What questions do you have? We'll start with Jerry and then it's Miss Pam.
I don't have a question. I just have a suggestion for people who are having trouble getting in the prayer store or the laundry room. Someone on the 6th floor who I can give you her name, or his name, has invented something to do that. So let me know.
Is it like a door grabber or something? Or- Okay,
Holder, grabber.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I need a picture. Send me a picture of that, Jerry. I'll put it out there. Oh, we're not supposed to do business this. Meet over in the Mayo parking lot. I don't care what you do over there. Yeah, Pam. Oh, yes. Yes.
I was wondering when.
Good question. I did send this over. I didn't get an answer. Dave, do you want to speak to that? So the question is for the landscaping that was frozen and thus destroyed. I know we were waiting on the fruit, any cold snaps to be over, but what's the timeline of that now?
It's kind of up in the air a little bit because we're negotiating with 3 different companies right now to take over landscaping, including roofers. But so mulch, we have quotes coming in already for all the houses, not just the Cypress Zone houses, but all the dead flowers. Most not flowers, probably not the right word, but plants, anything that's base foundation plants, arbicolas, that kind of stuff. So we are working on it. I would think in the next month we should be back to normal. But it might be a little bit longer if we transition to a new company. So. No, we got you. Trust me, you're not the only one, and we have a lot of dead flowers and plants around the neighborhood. Granted, the last cold snap was, not even 10 days ago, so, but we're not getting any more, at least it doesn't look like it, but then again, next week it's supposed to be in the 40s at night, so, but that won't stop for these plants.
Just a follow-up question to that. So those are the houses. What about the common areas? Is that going to be the full same time?
Great question, Ty. Okay. Yes, Ms. Carroll. Yes. Carol's question is, can you give us an update on the A elevator, the timeline? They started a week ago and it's about how many weeks? It's about a 3 to 4 week process. So give it another month or so.
3 to 4 weeks.
Per side. So they're gonna do. Bill. We don't say those words here. You know what happens when you say ahead of schedule, we get a leak, we get a fire, don't say this. Everybody pray and knock on wood. Okay. No, I'm praying against it. Okay. All right, who else? Who else has questions? Did I see anything? Is that everything? Do you have one? Excellent. Well, thank you all so much. Do you want to adjourn?
Okay, so our next community meeting, as you know, we're doing every other month now. We're not doing every month. So the next one is, the community meeting is Tuesday, May the 12th at 10 a.m. here at Egret Hall. Also, I'd encourage you all to go to the quarterly report for the finance report for the last quarter of the month, Todd?
Q4 2025.
Q4. And it's on Wednesday, March the 24th, I believe.
25th.
25th.
Yep.
25th.
3 p.m.
25th. So I'd urge you all to go if you're interested in what the finances look like at the facility where you live. Please do that. But other than that, we're adjourned.
Woo!